Tonight, new problems in an old building. The Northern Festival Centre responds to concerns about the accessible lift being out of action. And doing the region proud, a local horse takes out the Port Augusta Cup to the backdrop of the spectacular Flinders Ranges.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. The Northern Festival Centre is the go-to place for arts and entertainment in Port Pirie. However, recently not everyone has been able to attend, with the wheelchair lift being out of service. Residents turning to social media to express their frustration.
Inclusivity and access for all is at the core of Country Arts SA. While the organisation has spent close to 30 years connecting regional South Australia with arts and culture, the actual structure is much older, making it difficult to fix the wheelchair lift, which is the only way for mobility impaired patrons to access the auditorium.
The way that the Arts Centre was designed when it was first built back in the 80s, it is something that we wouldn't do again now. We would certainly make sure that there are many more, a variety of ways of getting into the Arts Centre for all patrons. But we have a building in place at the moment that we're trying to make best use of.
Port Pirie residents turned to Facebook to share their frustrations about the lift being out of action. One local took it upon herself to contact the centre for answers, as her son is unable to attend without the accessibility elevator.
He likes certain pictures and things like that, yes, and it is important. If he wants to go there, he does need the lifter. And, if you're in a wheelchair and you can't walk, then you definitely can't go there.
Margaret understands the centre is doing everything they can, but hopes there is a long-term solution to ensure it doesn't happen again.
The council, they've been talking to Jeff Brock, they've been talking to Country Art to see about what they can do with the next step after it's fixed.
The Northern Festival Centre say access to their centre is a high priority, and they are currently sourcing quotes for a new lift. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Police have located a stolen ute in Whyalla over the weekend. It comes after thieves entered a cabin in a Port Augusta caravan park on Saturday and allegedly stole a number of items, including a wallet and keys to a grey Ford Ranger, which they then drove off with. Yesterday afternoon, police searched a property in Whyalla and found the stolen car. Investigations are continuing and police are calling on anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers. It was far from a smooth start for the 4th COVID vaccine rollout in Port Pirie this morning. Residents were turned away from the vaccination centre, despite it being advertised those 30 years and older were eligible from today. Member for Stewart, Jeff Brock, was contacted about the bungle and made some inquiries, which led to the Port Pirie Hospital being contacted about fast-tracking any approvals. The issue has now been rectified, and those who are eligible for the 4th jab were able to get the jab from early afternoon. The biggest day in Port Augusta's racing calendar returned over the weekend, with patrons frocking up for the special occasion. Despite the wintry conditions, the Cup's fashions on the field, as well as the live music, added to the race day fun.
There's nothing like a day at the races. Yesterday, the Port Augusta Cup returned for its 141st instalment, with organisers saying crowd numbers look to be the strongest they've seen in recent years. The day of live racing action bringing patrons from near and far to place their bets amid one of the most unique views in the country.
It's a great atmosphere. The environment is perfect, just everything. Flinders Ranges in the background, what more could you want?
With an 8-race lineup, there were plenty of opportunities for punters to try their luck. But many were at the racetrack for one thing only, the day's well-known Fashions on the Field competition. Kerry Fowler's taking out Best Dressed Lady and Daniel Marnie was the Best Dressed Man.
The competition, the rest of the ladies were just phenomenal. It was very hard for the judges, very hard. So I was very shocked.
Yeah, my wife helped me pick a lot of the parts and bits and pieces out of it.
The fun family day out, a chance for kids to try out the new play equipment, while mum and dad crack open a bottle with friends.
The crowd, the atmosphere and stuff, it's been really good. It's been a good day to hang out and drink some beer.
Many celebrating the fact that it was a local horse that took out the day's highest honour. Grinzinger Star and Lachlan Overall combining to secure the Port Augusta Cup for local trainer Kylie McCurley.
Many thanks to our myriad of volunteers that work so hard to keep the place in good order and provide great facilities for the patrons.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, generous locals put their hands up to help get South Broken Hill looking and feeling like its old self. And rescuing one stray kitty at a time. Meet the people behind SA Cat Rescue in Port Pirie. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Golf News. After sending out the call for new members earlier this year, the Patton Village Committee has seen some passionate locals come forward. The group is dedicated to restoring South Broken Hill to the vibrant community it once was. Our reporter Joshua Mercer has more.
There are some fresh faces joining the Patton Village Committee, bringing with them a wealth of knowledge, skills and vision for the future of the South. Back in April, the group had reached out to the community to entice more members. Otherwise, they would have been forced to disband after COVID affected membership. Locals of all ages put their hands up, ensuring the committee's future. The pandemic didn't just see membership drop, it also forced the shutdown of the South Library. But the building is being put to good use once again, with the Country Women's Association now calling it home. Since their inception in 2010, Patton Village has seen plenty of wins for the South, with the upgrades to Patton Park and the annual Christmas party, which gets bigger and better each year, just some of the examples. Whilst he did consider stepping down, current chair Larry Angel has decided to stay on for another term, which the committee is over the moon about. With the new members coming on board, the organisation hasn't wasted any time getting down to business. Already planning for this year's Christmas party and working on a strategic plan for the South Community Centre, and also something big in the next month. To find out what it is, you'll have to watch this space. Meetings are on the last Sunday of the month at 4 p.m. at the South Community Centre, with new members welcome. For more information on Patton Village and South Broken Hill in general, it can be found on the group's Facebook page.
SA Cat Rescue was founded in 2019 by a group of cat enthusiasts with the mission to get the growing feline population off the streets and into loving homes. However, doing so has become increasingly difficult, with the number of stray cats continuing to grow.
SA Cat Rescue believe every cat deserves 3 things in life: to be safe, warm and loved.
This is Tuxley. Tuxley was born to a feral mum on a property in rural South Australia. Unfortunately, they didn't know he was there inside a pile of wood that was being used for a bonfire, and the family dog got in, and unfortunately all of his siblings were killed.
Unfortunately, cat rescue volunteer Kim Marie says stories like Tuxley's are all too common, and herself and other volunteers do everything they can, saying saving one cat won't change the world, but it will change the world for that cat.
He came to us as a solo kitten and needed bottles, but he's doing fantastically now and he will be available for adoption soon.
SA Cat Rescue works closely with Port Pirie Rescue Hampers, who collect donations and supplies to support rescue cats and kittens with vet care, treatment of fleas, desexing, microchipping and vaccinations. Donations that are most in demand include laundry rinse, blankets and towels and tissues, and no donation is too small. Follow SA Cat Rescue's Facebook page for information about how you can help or adopt a friend for life. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Alcohol and meth detected on drivers cruising along Spencer Golf roads. And locals gather at Jubilee Oval in Broken Hill for the unveiling of the Acknowledgement to Country plaque. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Golf News. Not one, not two, but 3 people have been caught doing the wrong thing on Spencer Golf roads over the weekend. 2 men in their 40s and 50s were pulled over in separate incidents in Kadina and Butte on Friday night. Each allegedly blew over the legal blood alcohol limit Both had their cars impounded and lost their driver's licence for 6 months. A third person, a 32-year-old man from Elizabeth, was also allegedly detected drug driving, returning a positive result for methamphetamine. He may face charges depending on the forensic analysis. AFL Broken Hill unveiled an acknowledgement to country plaque to the Wilyakalli people at Jubilee Oval at the weekend. It capped off a week of NAIDOC celebrations in the Silver City, which ended with the annual Indigenous round.
AFL Broken Hill acknowledging elders past, present and emerging. Wilyakalli woman Sandra Clark unveiled the plaque on Saturday, kicking off Indigenous round and bringing an end to NAIDOC week.
They met with us at the beginning of the week on Monday, and they told us their plans, that they wanted to put up a plaque of acknowledgement to the Wilyakalli people of Broken Hill.
It's been a long journey to get to this point, and instead of just wanting to do a welcome to country before the games, the organisation decided it was time to go further.
It shows that the Broken Hill community is working towards reconciliation with Aboriginal people, because there's no better thing than to do that through sports, where everyone is, as one.
As well as making for a good day for those Indigenous players taking part across all grades of football.
About making it a great day, for Indigenous players and recognising what they contribute to the community in Broken Hill.
Ms Clark wants people to remember when seeing the plaque that it's a great way to acknowledge you are on Wilyakalli country, and it was and always will be Aboriginal land.
You can have a great community spirit around playing football, and it's really important that you acknowledge that, the country that you're on and where you're going to be playing your sports.
The round of football capped off a great NAIDOC week in the Silver City, which started last Monday with a colour run for the kids and also included other nations in the celebration.
Because Broken Hill's not just made up of Wilyakalli people, we also have people from other areas such as the Barkindji people, Dairy, all over the place they come to Broken Hill.
As for who won the Indigenous round, Edward McCarroll will have all the details in Footy Wrap. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
First Nations artists based in Port Lincoln are being encouraged to apply for the tender to have their artwork incorporated into the new play space area. Stage 1 of the Foreshore Development Project got underway late last month, which will see the construction of $1 million playground. Port Lincoln City Council is now following up on its request for artists to submit a quote online by searching Port Lincoln Play Space Art Opportunities. Successful candidates will have a demonstrated knowledge of the local Aboriginal cultural heritage of the city and its traditional custodians, the Bangala people, as well as ongoing cultural connection to Port Lincoln. Stay with us after the break. Why PCYC's Nations of Origin tournament has been postponed until later this year. And we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. Some disappointing news for the Broken Hill contingent of the PCYC's Nations of Origin tournament. It's been postponed until October, following the disastrous weather in Sydney and the Hunter region. 13 kids from Menindee, Wilcannia and Broken Hill were scheduled to participate in the annual event, which sees sport integrated with culture, education and leadership. Organisers say they're keen to run the event this year, following several years of cancellations due to COVID. Footy across our region is heating up, with the past and present players rallying behind their teams at the weekend. Locked in tight contests, crowds could be heard roaring from the sidelines, everywhere but Whyalla, where the grounds resembled that of a ghost town. Here's Edward McCarroll with this week's Footy Wrap.
All was quiet in Whyalla this weekend as the local football league was suspended to allow for ground maintenance ahead of the upcoming Country Football Championships. With over 300 footballers expected to descend upon the city, crews are out working on Bennett Oval to make sure the grass is in tip-top condition. The tournament will see 6 zone teams battle each other in both men's and women's carnivals, with the best country footballers ultimately rising to the top. Over in Port Augusta this weekend, there was a bit more action, with West Augusta hosting a Past Players Day and their 1972 team reunion. Even with strong crowd numbers watching on, unfortunately Westies just couldn't match the skill level of Prop Risen's forward line, going on to lose by 105 points. In the other game, Solomon Town thumped Port 155 to 36. Dylan Bounty from Solomon Town was hands down the best player on the grounds this week, scoring 8 goals throughout the course of the match. Over at Central Oval, South Augusta took on Centrals, with both teams looking to pick up points that are becoming more and more critical as the end of the season fast approaches. Trent Ritter for Southies continues to be a positive force on the Oval for the team, scoring 2 goals and rallying his side to hold back Centrals. South Augusta going on to beat Centrals by 22 points. Jumping across the border to Broken Hill, North took on West at Jubilee Oval. Shane Dalby kicked 4 goals for North, contributing to a scoreline that just couldn't be matched by Westies. In the other game, Centrals tried their luck against South, but it was to no avail. Southies absolutely crushing Centrals, 139 to 37. Cody Scorn kicking an impressive 11 goals in that match. That's all for this week's Footy Wrap. Tune in tomorrow night where we'll take a look at the results from our region's other sports.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, good evening to you. Some rain around Port Lincoln this morning.
Good evening, Maddie. That's right. Not much, but enough to make a dent. 1.6 millimetres fell over the course of the workday. Temperature-wise, 5.9 degrees was the overnight low. Warming up to 16 degrees just after 1:30 this afternoon. Elsewhere, Broken Hill had a chilly start to the day, reaching 13 degrees by early afternoon. Clare got no warmer than 8 degrees with a bit of afternoon rain as well. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, 18 degrees was the maximum our area reached. That was in Cooper Pedy. Whyalla and Port Pirie reached 14 degrees. 12 was the top in Kadina. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a cold front over southern waters will move across Gulf Coast this evening. A high pressure system will develop over the Bight tomorrow, with the airstream expected to move over the south. This high will move slowly eastwards during the week. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southwesterly winds 15 to 20 knots. Seas will be around 1 metre, increasing to 1.5 metres during the afternoon, and south to southwesterly swell between 1 and 2 metres. Between 7 and 16 degrees in Port Lincoln, around 1 millimetre of rain expected. Showers developing over Cleve, 15 degrees down to 4 degrees in Woodna, warming up to 17 tomorrow. Whyalla and Port Augusta have an identical forecast, between 6 and 16 degrees, with a shower or 2 developing. Similar conditions on the way for Kadina as well, 15 degrees there tomorrow. Showers around Port Pirie on Tuesday, 1 millimetre is the predicted amount set to fall, 15 degrees, just 11 degrees in Clare, and Broken Hill will be cloudy tomorrow between 4 and 13 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, starting with Wednesday's weather, and it's looking a fair bit drier than what Tuesday has to offer. Partly cloudy conditions in most places, temperatures between 13 and 17 degrees. Taking a look at Thursday's outlook now, slightly warmer conditions in Port Augusta, Woodna and Port Pirie, 17 degrees. 17 in Port Lincoln as well. There's a slight chance of a shower, most likely in the morning. And finally, a quick look at how Friday's forecast is shaping up. 14 degrees in Broken Hill, Kadina and Adelaide. Possible showers in Woodna and Port Lincoln, 16 degrees. 17 the top in Whyalla and Port Augusta. So Maddie, tomorrow is most likely going to be the wettest of the week. Remember to bring your washing inside. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Monday. I'm Madeline Kerr. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.